everybody. Welcome back. Happy Sunday. If you're a new viewer, hi, my name's Anthony, and I have been cooking through the great hit HBO series The Sopranos. Every time that they mention food, something just fell in the background, whatever. So I'm cooking through all the dishes mentioned in the show, or that relate to the show. So far I've been using the Soprano Family Cookbook. A lot of people don't know they actually made another cookbook called Entertaining With The Sopranos. This one is supposedly from Carmela's standpoint, and this is the first recipe I got to use from this book. In the second episode, Paulie's in Starbucks, and he's just complaining about like Starbucks using all of Italian culture.
I think I'll have an espresso. Paulie, you want anything?
They got any just coffee?
Our cafe du jour is New Zealand peaberry.
Madonna. Whatever.
What goes really good with espresso and coffee and mochas? Biscotti, of course. So today we're gonna be making, totally gonna mess up this this word because I've only ever read it and never heard it. Quaresimali. It's basically cinnamon nut biscotti. Biscotti meaning literally twice baked. Let's get to the ingredients. We got flour, obviously, pretty much you're baking, it's gonna take flour. Sugar, in this bowl, I decided to share the bowl because they're all gonna go in at the same time. Cinnamon, baking powder, salt, eggs, a whole bunch of hazelnuts, and almonds. Now, here's the thing. It said toasted almonds, and it said skin toasted hazelnuts. With the almonds though, it just said toasted. It didn't say slivered, it didn't say sliced, chopped, anything. I'm going with slices, because it's what I found, and I was like, you know what, I think this will work. And while you're doing this, you should have your oven preheating to 350. Mine's already beeped at me and it told me it's preheated. So just in a big old mixing bowl, take the sugar and the flour, the cinnamon, the baking powder, and the salt, all together. And we're gonna mix these all in. I'm actually gonna do it properly and fold it in. Oh man, that cinnamon gives it a nice smell. I'm gonna make a little divot here. Plop the 3 eggs right in here, like so. Start mixing it all together. Do this until it's well blended. You know what? I'm a firm believer in if you can do this with your hands, do it with your hands. There's just something about prepping food with your own hands that just, I don't know, it just makes it seem more worth it, more worthwhile, like more of your own creation. Well, that's me. Please make sure your hands are washed before you reach all up in here. The egg is starting to do its job. The yolks are starting to get the flour to form. It's starting to become more of a dough. Before it completely becomes one body of dough, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in all of these nuts in. So there go the hazelnuts, and here come spilling some almond slices here. The bowl is primarily the 2 forms of nuts. It's a very little dough that is holding everything together. Starting to have my doubts. This is, by the way, the first time ever trying this recipe. If you're just joining me for the first time, I've been just experimenting all these recipes. A lot of these recipes are brand new to me. It's so sticky. Eventually, this will solidify enough that you can actually divide it up into 6 pieces. Man, my hands are starting to look like the Thing from the Fantastic Four. It's clobbering time. I don't know, I really feel like there should be more dough involved in this. Seems like the dough-nut ratio is way off in my personal opinion. But I'm trying this for the first time, so what do I know? Cooking's about having fun. You can explore with recipes, but that's cooking. This is baking. Baking, you have to be exact like a scientist. Don't be afraid to fail in baking. So there's a baking tip for you. Have extra flour laying about. Just trying to get this remaining dough off my hands. Oh yeah, it's coming off. That's also how you get tree sap off you, by the way. Rub your hands in dirt. Now the book says to divide this up into 6 parts. I've kind of sort of made like a little disc thing. I'm gonna slice it. Have your baking pans ready. We're gonna put 3 logs on each pan. Split it up into 6 parts. Okay, there's one. Keep them about 2 inches apart. They almost look like vegetarian sausages. Okay, so these are going to expand as they heat up. Into the oven they go. For about 20 minutes, 20 to 22 minutes. I'm gonna go with 21, because that's... So I got about 21 minutes now to clean up what happened here, which wasn't that much. And we'll check back in when I pull them out. All right, timer went off, and as promised, oh gosh, the logs did spread out a bit. So here we see they're not quite brown yet. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take one ever so gingerly. Oh, come on. There we go. Ooh, that is a good method. All right, so we take them, and they're kind of firm, but still soft. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're firm, but they're soft. Just when you try it, you'll know what I mean. And this recipe, they say, be fancy-like and cut them on a diagonal. You know what I'm gonna use? Bread knife. I'll get the line started with the bread knife, and then I'll finish it with the other one. And I am, of course, doing this when they're fresh from the oven, so my fingertips are paying for it. Keep wiping the blade clean as you do it. Now we take these and put them back on the cookie sheet. And by the way, I cut these about a ½ inch, about roughly. So I don't remember if this was the one that was on the top layer or the bottom layer, but this one seemed to do much better. Or it's the fact that it solidified a little while it cooled down because I was slicing the others. So maybe that's a factor. I would say let them cool down a little when you pull them out the oven, because these are cutting way better. Okay, now they go back into the oven for another 10 minutes. At the same temperature though. I know the last set of biscotti we made, we raised it up. This one stays the same. Gotta do something while I'm waiting. All right, so the timer's up. Let's see how the bottom one turned out. All right, so they're out now. They still seem a little doughy in the middle, but I think part of that goes away as they cool off and they'll stiffen back up. And now we just wait for that. Now as I wait for them to cool, the book said that this would make about 10 dozen. 10 dozen, that's 120, right? So I only got about 50 out of them. So mine might be a little thick. Oh well. As long as they come out tasting right, right? Switch over to coffee here. And there we go. It's done. Okay, so here we go. The end result. That cinnamon goes a long way. The middle part for me still ended up a little, I wouldn't say mushy, but when you bite into biscotti, you expect that that hard, crisp bite. And I get that on the outside, but I don't get it on the inside. But also I was supposed to have about double the number that I got, which probably tells me I made them too thick. And that's why they didn't get that crisp all the way through. And that's why they stayed a little undone in the middle. I'll probably try it again some other time. Let's try dunking with the coffee. Still does pretty good with the coffee. All right, so there you go. That's it. Our saga in Starbucks has come to an end, bringing back Italian culture to the coffee house. And next week, we will work on what a proper antipasto platter should include. Have a great week. Enjoy this biscotti. Enjoy some good coffee. Life's too short for bad food, bad coffee. Mangia. I'll see you next week.